My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. I'm going to give you my favorite Underdog Fantasy entry for UFC Sao Paulo. If you don't know what Underdog Fantasy is, you basically come in here, you say higher or lower than the numbers you see on the screen, and you can 20 times your money. It is the highest payout in this daily fantasy prop game space. Best part is they will give you free money to play. All you need to do is go to wewantpicks.com/underdog, use promo code WWP, and they will instantly match your deposit. You give them $50, they'll give you 50. You give them $100, they'll give you 100. Get the free money, build yourself an entry, and if you win, you have even more free money. If you lose, well, who cares? It was the free money. wewantpicks.com/underdog, promo code WWP. You can only use the free money if you want. So let's say you give them 50. They give you 50. You have 100 in the account. Use the free 50. Win, withdraw it all. Like whatever you want to do. wewantpicks.com/underdog, promo code WWP. The last thing I'll mention here, on the left, you'll see the scrolly. These are all the sports. It's football season. They've got football props. Obviously, baseball just ended last night. But we have basketball, hockey, all of the sports, college sports as well, and video games. I will never know how the hell video games works. But all the sports are here. We are going to talk about UFC Sao Paulo. This is another tricky breakdown. So when we talk about UFC Sao Paulo, some of these fights are easy reads, right? I'm very confident Almeida is going to smoke. Absolutely smoke Derek Lewis. But if we're doing the fantasy build out here, well, fantasy points is tricky. You want to say higher, but here's the breakdown of those fantasy points. Significant strikes, only half a point. He might land 3. He literally might only land 3. 5 points for a takedown. Maybe he gets 6 takedowns. Maybe he gets 1 takedown. So there's a lot of questions here. You do get 50 points right off the rip for a first round finish. But let's say Almeida gets 1 takedown, throws 3 punches, and then finishes in the first round. You get 56.5 points. The fantasy line is 65.5. There's too many questions there to touch the fantasy line. The fight minutes is another tricky one. This could end in 2 minutes. It could end in 10. This is another tricky one. The only one that I truly like, there's 2 that I like here. Significant strikes. I like the lower on that. He has not gotten past that number very often, especially a guy like Derek Lewis. And I also like the higher on submissions. I think he is going to submit Derek Lewis. I think that's pretty obvious that's what's going to happen. I don't think it'll be a TKO. It could be. I think it will be a submission, though. But I already have an entry built with submission. I'll show that to you. So let's go ahead and we'll do the under on significant strikes. We got 15 at Prize Picks. This is 14.5, so 1 strike difference. As we work our way down, it doesn't get much easier. Gabriel Bonfim, he should beat Nicholas Dalby. He's never been to a decision. So in all likelihood, there's a finish here, but we just don't know. Nicholas Dalby is actually tougher than a lot of people are going to give him credit for. This fantasy points gets tricky because if there's a finish, maybe he gets there. If it goes to a decision, he may not. So we're going to leave that alone. Rodrigo Nascimento has already won this fight, and he won by submission. So we can go ahead and throw this in there. I have another entry built without this. We'll talk about that. But I think Rodrigo Nascimento over over a half a submission, which means he'll win by submission. And they're juicing that line, 1.5x on that payout. So that is nice there. It's a little chili pepper. I don't know why the hell it's a chili pepper, what that means. Should be a bone, right? Underdog. It's not under the kitchen. That was so stupid. We could also go higher on the takedown lines, right? He got 2 takedowns in that last fight. He could potentially get 2 here as well. But let's go ahead and chase that higher payout. Work our way down. Kyle Barallo. I want to go higher on the takedowns, so I will go higher on the takedowns. And then we work our way down. Armin Petrosyan, half a finish. I'm not touching that. I think Vieira can win this fight, so I'm not going to touch that. They are juicing that. Feels like a trap. Ismael Bonfim, he's fighting from hell Vince Pichel. Vince Pichel is very tough. So now the fight minutes are tricky. The fantasy points are tricky. All of this is tricky. We'll leave that alone. Daniel Marcos, they're trying to trap you with the knockout. I don't know if he's going to knock out Hugo Silva. Hugo Silva is not a bum. Good amount of experience showing up. Yes, it's short notice, but he comes to fight. Vitor Petrino, don't love this one either. We've seen fights where he had 7 takedowns. We've seen fights where he has 0 takedowns. So we'll go ahead and leave that alone as well. Renat Fakhretdinov, 3.5 takedowns. 2.5, I would absolutely hammer the higher. I think he'll get 3 takedowns. 3.5, which means he needs 4 takedowns. If Eliza Zaleski doesn't get up in any round, then we're not going to get to that 4 takedowns. So Higher is probably safe, and we're going to do the insured payout. So we'll add that, but don't love it. Don't love it. We only have one more entry. If we move ourselves over to rivals, what I am going to like here is, let's work our way down. Where is he? Kaue Fernandes. Where you at, buddy? Come on with it. Here we go. They're giving Kaue Fernandes 4.5 significant strikes against Marc Diakiese. I think he can get there. Marc Diakiese has become a wrestler. He is not the volume striker that he used to be. And I could see Kaue Fernandes being that volume striker, staying in the face, especially if he's getting taken down a few times. He's going to throw wild, let his hands go to try to, get done what he can get done. Here's this second entry. I already have one entry built. We're going to do the insured option, which means if I get all 5 of these correct, I will 15 times my money. 15 times. If 4 of them are correct, I will still 3.7 times my money. If we stuck with the standard, I 30 times my money. That's what that chili pepper does. It 1.5 the payout. The payout was 20x. We had the chili pepper. It's now 30x. So we're going to go with the insured option because there's a few risky ones there. I'll throw $10 at this bad boy. I'll show you the entry I already have as well. That's what we just built. Let's go to the ones I already have. We just built this 5-pick. The 3-pick I built earlier is Jalton Almeida. We gave him the submission. Kyle Barallo, we went over on the takedowns, and then we did that Kaue Fernandes 4.5 significant strikes. And that 5, we have Jalton Almeida lower than the significant strikes. Rodrigo Nascimento, we did the chili pepper with the submissions, and Renat Fakhretdinov, we went higher than the takedowns. Kaio takedown line, Fernandes 4.5 significant strikes. Guys, that's my entry. That doesn't need to be your entry, but this is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm doing with my money. The important thing is get your free money. Go to wewantpicks.com/underdog, use promo code WWP, and get your free money. It's literally instant, and you can use it immediately. You play it one time, you can withdraw it. It's not just UFC. It is every single sport. wewantpicks.com/underdog. That promo code is WWP.